Hey guys, it's Mackenzie.
And Natalie, and today we're going to be talking about the factors that play into mental health.
We are going to be discussing a couple of both positive and negative mental health factors.
Yeah, and I feel like the first one that we should talk about is technology, which can go both ways, both negative and positive, which I feel like we should talk about the negative part first.
Yeah. So, for me, I think the negative part of technology is obviously just the fact that people have stopped going and doing things, I feel like, because they're like obsessed with like their phones, like TV, computers, video games.
Right, there's like little social interaction now,
Yeah.
like compared to when we were even younger, when our parents were younger, because they didn't have social media. They didn't even have like phones and stuff like that. They barely had
No.
computers like we do. Like Amazon, nobody goes to stores anymore. They buy stuff. Like you don't have that social interaction
No.
with like a cashier and stuff like that. And plus there's so many apps where you can find friends on social media, which is scary because you don't know them. But like also that deters you from like going out and finding friends by yourself.
That is true, like in person, because of like what can happen if you meet up with the wrong person or if it's somebody like posing as someone that they're not. And so I agree. And like for me too, a big thing is like there are some people I do not talk to in person, but over social media, like we're commenting on each other's stuff, like we talk like that.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the positive ways is that like people you don't see or you don't even know spreading positive things on the internet, and you getting to like comment on their stuff or they comment on your stuff, like uplifting you basically.
Yeah.
That is one of the positive aspects. I feel like Amazon could be pretty positive too, like if you're in a time crunch and you don't have time to go to the store.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like the biggest part of the negative aspect of technology is that it's limiting our social life, which can damage your mental health as a whole.
Adding on to that as well, I feel like the evolution of online shops over the past like 10 years and beyond that has taken away like the social aspect of going to stores and going to the mall, because some people, like I know even people close to me, they're like, yeah, I do not want to go, it's too crowded, and so they just order stuff
Especially
online.
after COVID, I feel like that scared people from going anywhere, which is awful because we were in that isolation for like 2 years.
Yes.
3 years, and people are still scared of it to go out, which is
Or
isolating
they got
us.
used to just being at home and like working from home and like getting comfortable there, and so like once that 2 years was up and we've all been at home, you can't expect them to just up and be like, okay.
Right.
Okay, so our next topic, that's a factor of mental health, is diet. And I think this one is really, really important. I've written a whole thing on it just about how certain food is brain power food and junk food is not going to do anything to help you, and what you eat does affect how you feel.
Right. Yeah. You need brain power, especially us as students, coming to school 5 days a week. We need like nutrients in our food to keep up in school and understand what's going on. And when we just consume, I don't want to necessarily call it bad foods because I feel like in moderation.
Oh yeah, junk
any
food is fine.
fine.
Yeah, in moderation. It's just obviously if you're not, nourishing your body with the food that it
like
needs,
protein
and like
protein's
balance.
a big one. Protein is a very big one because that not only like helps you grow throughout your life, it helps you build muscle, it helps your brain actually takes nutrients from protein and distributes it throughout your bodies. So that's one of the biggest, I feel like, brain power foods that you need is protein and
chicken,
stuff.
beef, steak.
If you're vegetarian, beans.
Yeah, literally.
Don't beans have protein?
Yeah,
Yogurt?
So does rice. Or
rice
maybe,
has protein?
No, rice doesn't have protein, but rice is good for you.
To tie in with diets, I feel like our next factor should be exercise, which also can go both ways.
Yes.
Exercise is very good for your body, and I'm not saying necessarily every single day to do like a 40-minute exercise.
Or a
even
5-mile run.
Right, even just going on like a walk maybe for like 20 minutes. You can even go on a 10-minute walk or just like even play outside.
Just to get outside and do something, get moving.
Right, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be outside. Like you can be in your room and do like, I do Every night, I get down there and I do 25 sit-ups, and I'm like, okay, cute.
Okay. Yeah, that's it's either in the morning or at night. I'll just do crunches and
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
on
that
my
gets
way.
your body going.
Yeah.
It pumps you up. It helps blood flow. It keeps you active, which is very good for your mental health
Yes.
because blood flow is really good for your brain, which helps you comprehend things better.
Yes.
And
I know we like the gym.
yes, but over exercising is a thing when you surround your whole life with just exercising.
Yes.
It goes back to the isolation thing.
Yep, and that's when it starts to get negative effects to it because either you're doing it for the wrong reasons or you are just doing it too much and your body's not getting like the amount of like
Right.
protein and stuff that it properly needs to be able to keep up with those exercises.
Because exercising is little tears. It's like micro tears at your muscles.
Mhm.
And when you exercise too much, like, when you do an exercise and you wake up the next morning and sometimes you're sore.
Yeah.
That is your muscles trying to repair themselves, and that's when you get muscles because they repair
bigger.
themselves and they get bigger,
Yeah.
which can be a bad thing because you can create injuries that way.
Okay, so our last one for today is stress because it affects all of this.
Right.
All of
stress
those
plays into
factors.
everything.
Yeah.
With some stress is good stress. You need stress basically to be like a human being.
Yeah.
Every human being has stress.
And to stay motivated and
Right.
disciplined.
Stress does motivate you to do things, but also when you are surrounding yourself in stressful environments all the time, that is detrimental to your mental health.
Yes.
Um,
Another psychology fact, if you're, like, when you're younger and you are more prone to be surrounded by stressful environments for a long period of time, eventually, like, your brain does shift to thinking a certain way because of that, and that is not good for
didn't know
us
that.
growing up, yeah. And so
right,
it actually
because
changes.
your brain's still developing.
Yeah, so it literally changes because of stuff
Wait,
like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
cool, but it's like not cool, but like it's
Yes,
cool.
it's cool because like your body's kind of like adapting a little bit, but
Not for the right
not
reasons.
for the right reasons exactly. So it can be super detrimental, especially on us growing up and being so young and learning.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, well, I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm Natalie.
And I'm Mackenzie.
And we'll see you next time.